So I crave the indulgence of members of ATSSC to please wait after the last presentation is done so that we can finalize with our meeting. On that note, I take this opportunity to invite our next speaker, going to talk to us about keeping track of Abuja safety targets. And he is in the person of Mr. James Danga, who is the air navigation expert at AFCAC. Immediately after that, we will have our final presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to sit down and hear this. This presentation is going to talk to us about how to remarket aviation. If we think we are marketing aviation, you wait until you hear from the expert. And this is a consultant in aviation matters from Innova Conseil. So ladies and gentlemen, stay put. And in the next 30 minutes, we should be done and get ourselves to our rooms, freshen up, wear our dancing shoes in readiness for what lies ahead tonight. Your lives will never be the same after tonight.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I take a cue from you that we are behind time. So I'll be 3 Bs. I'll be brief, I'll be fast, and I'll be gone. So my name is James Danga, as indicated by Program Director, and I'm the safety expert at the African Civil Aviation Commission, and I'm going to give a brief presentation on the status of implementation of the Abuja safety targets on behalf of the African Civil Aviation Commission Secretary General, Madame Adefunke Adeyemi. So this presentation is in 3 parts. There's just going to be an introduction, then we'll go through the monitoring and evaluation process by AFCAC to check on the status of implementation, and a few remarks, and then we conclude. So by way of introduction, the Abuja safety targets consist of 16 continental safety and air navigation safety targets agreed among African member states to ensure aviation safety in Africa. So AFCAC was given the task of monitoring the status of implementation of the Abuja safety targets. And we do that on an annual basis. Once every year, we send questionnaires to member states to check and make sure that they are following up on these Abuja safety targets. So out of the 16 targets, 8 are safety-related targets, and the other 8 are air navigation performance indicators or targets. You may recall that at the beginning of this meeting today, quite a number of speakers alluded to the increase in traffic. And that is what is anticipated, particularly because of implementation of SATAM strategies. We anticipate that there's going to be growth. And according to ICAO, air traffic doubles every 15 years. And that has been the fact for aviation since 1977. We have experienced that. So the Abuja safety target has been designed in such a way to assist member states to develop strategic air navigation system, to develop safety systems, so that when that demand increases, there is already capacity. So they are anticipatory, these targets, to help member states to grow their systems so that they are ready when air traffic increases. Okay, so this presentation basically gives a summary of the status of implementation of the Abuja safety target as of December 2022. So as I said, on an annual basis, we send questionnaires to member states. Member states give us feedback, showing us how much they've done in terms of implementation of the Abuja safety and air navigation targets. So this slide is just basically communicating what we do in terms of the questionnaires that we send out. It's all electronic. We send a link to member states. They just click on the link, and then they see all the questions associated with the 16 Abuja safety targets. And then they give responses to AFCAC. And we automatically get the information as they go through these questionnaires that are available online. Or they can scan on that scanning code that you can see. Then they provide that information, and it's available to AFCAC automatically. So when the member states provide that information, a bar chart automatically comes up at AFCAC showing how much in terms of implementation these member states have done. So in terms of monitoring and implementation, or monitoring and evaluation, through cooperation and collaboration with international partners, AFCAC assists member states to be able to implement these targets that we have just talked about. And we noticed that ICAO has got a very significant input that they provide towards the implementation of the Abuja safety targets. They've got programs, they've got resources that they earmark on an annual basis, on an ongoing basis. The AFI plan, the RASC-AFI, the APIG, all those programs are channeled towards assisting member states to implement these Abuja safety targets. So there are also capacity building initiatives, training that is provided by our international partners, such as Korea, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and many others. And member states are trained to make sure that there is capacity building on a continuous basis. So this Abuja safety status of implementation report was compiled using information provided by member states and also information that we get from ICAO, the iStars, and various platforms that have got supplementary information to help us to see where exactly we are in terms of implementation of the Abuja safety target. So, in a nutshell, this graph is just basically showing us the status of implementation of the Abuja safety targets from target number 1 up to target number 16. So you can see that unfortunately, member states have not been able to reach 100%, which is what we wanted in the first place. But there is progress. There is movement from 0 to somewhere on each and every target you can see. And we don't have much challenges in terms of the safety-related targets, which are basically from number 1 up to number 8. But of concern is the issue related to air navigation-related targets. You can see the red lines. Air navigation related targets are really lagging behind in terms of implementation from our member states. And you can understand, because air navigation service-related targets by nature really demand huge resources from member states, and that's why it's really lagging behind. So just to go through quickly, on the air navigation-related targets, number 14, for example, is on implementation of the ASBU from block 0, or rather from where member states were to block 0, and we have got an average of 40% for Africa, and the requirement for states to put in place national ASBU plan by year 2018 was not met. Again, you notice that here we're using 2018. Our targets are behind, and already we're in the process of updating them to make sure that they are updated so that they continue to look forward. As we said, we should always emulate, or rather, we should always aim to develop in future so that we meet with the increase in traffic. Number 13, establishment of the seamless air navigation services. You recall AUC alluded to the developments that are ongoing for the seamless airspace. And yes, there are plans underway to make sure that at least we start by the gap analysis, where we are in terms of the infrastructure and where we want to be. So again, this one is lagging behind, but AUC, AFCAC, and various international organizations are working together to make sure that we end up having the seamless airspace for Africa. Again, it's very, very important for implementation of the single African air transport market. Number 10, implementation, the transition from AIS to AIM. Again, very low, 15%. It's an area of concern. Again, it's air navigation related, and resources needs to be poured in that area to make sure that states don't get left behind. Number 12, reduction of the rate of aircraft proximity, airprox occurrences, status of implementation, 25%. Again, it's very, very low. We are working towards assisting member states to make sure that they put systems in place so that at least we increase the status of implementation from that 25% going up. Now, from this slide up to the end is just basically what AFCAC sees, which we monitor from time to time. It's basically a matrix showing each and every target. And in this matrix, we track what are the activities that we have put in place to help member states to address or to implement the Abuja safety targets. We also identify in this matrix the resources, programs that are in place to help member states. And also in this matrix, we now measure the status of implementation for each and every member state, taking from the information that we get from member states using that the questionnaires that I talked about at the beginning. So this is the matrix that AFCAC uses from time to time. So I'm not going to go through the details of this matrix. It's just for you to have an appreciation. That's what we have. That's what we monitor. So I will skip the slides. But they are available online, I'm sure. This PPT is available. You can always go through it in your time. The main challenges. So this is the last slide. The main challenge that we are facing in the implementation and monitoring is the low response rate regarding information provided by member states for monitoring the progress of implementation of the Abuja safety targets. So AFCAC has since recommended that the only way is to go IT. If we can use the automated data collection tools, then we'll be able to overcome this challenge. That's challenge number one. Number two, there is limited regional initiatives, interventions by responsible entities to assist member states to address particularly the air navigation related targets. So if we channel our resources in that area, I'm sure you'll see the ANS related targets moving up. And lastly, lack of resources to implement certain targets which require substantial financial resources. Again, it's related to number two. So these are some of the things that we are also looking at in partnership with our international organizations to make sure that we address these requirements according to the Abuja safety and ANS targets. So in conclusion, member states and service providers are called to establish and implement automated safety data collection and information sharing tools, as we indicated, to help monitor the status of implementation. And they are also encouraged to develop and implement all required national implementation plans, so that together we push and pull in the same direction with those national plans, accommodating all the 16 targets which are amended from time to time. And as for AFCAC and ICAO and our international organizations, we are encouraged to provide updates in the alignment of the targets with ICAO GASP and GAMP, and this is already taking place, and we have covered 90% of this amendment process, and I'm sure by the end of June, July, we should be complete in as far as this kind of program is concerned. Then we also need to develop an online mechanism and tools for effective reporting on progress, enhance coordination among key stakeholders to ensure availability of resources to assist member states, to facilitate for proper continental master plans which are required to ensure comprehensive implementation of the air navigation related targets. So thank you all for your listening, and Program Director, I hope I was on time.
With that on time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A louder applause, please. We're talking about safety here. And safety is very important. The organization that is tracking that for us, we need to really appreciate what they are doing for this continent. They're keeping us on track to make sure we fly safely and we do our work in peace and in harmony. So let me give you a small token of appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least presentation for the day is, can we welcome her with a round of applause, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Soumaya Letaifa. I'm glad to be here today to make a presentation on how to remarket the aviation sector. Yes, so just a few words about Innova Conseil. As I said, I'm the CEO of Innova Conseil, a consultancy firm that has been launched in Montreal in 2012. And it's a niche player in advisory services, mainly in strategy and business organizational capabilities. Innova Conseil is a niche player in advisory services, addressing three main topics: strategy and building organizational capabilities, people and culture, and customer experience. We embrace a transformational approach and a human-centric approach with our partners. We launched a branch in 2016 in Tunisia to better address the African market and the African continent. As you can see, maybe it's small here for you, but as we started to work with many players here in the hospitality and tourism sector, in Djibouti, in Cameroon, in Morocco, and recently with Uganda Airlines. We have a local team to have the social embeddedness required to better serve our partners. Our projects since the post-COVID, the post-COVID and the recovery, dealt mainly with the support on strategy, cultural transformation, restructuring of different functions, and for that we needed to have a collaborative spirit and a human-centric approach. That's why we use self-leadership approach, which is a certified and certifying approach from University of Geneva. We are the exclusive partner on this approach for Africa and MENA region. As you can see, IATA was among the first partners for self-leadership program in Geneva. And recently we had Royal Air Maroc, who followed the self-leadership program in order to make the organization of the different entities of Royal Air Maroc. So remarketing the industry, this is the topic today. Since the end of the pandemic, the aviation industry has been chaotic and erratic. Aiming at getting back on track and reaching its full profitability, the aviation industry must be remarketed, and a new narrative must be developed. For that, we need to answer 3 questions. Oops. We barely see the 3. So the first question is, why do we need to remarket the industry? The second question is, what do we need to remarket in the industry? And the final question is, how can we remarket and how should we remarket the industry? Okay, let's start with the first question, the why question. Why do we need to remarket the industry? We had the first crisis of COVID that hit the aviation industry very hard, forcing airlines to cancel flights, to ground their fleets, to lay off employees. Then we had the recovery, but the recovery was painful. It had come up against a massive shortage in staffing at airports and airlines. Travelers were paying ever more for a plane ticket, and yet have less chance of making it to their destinations. We have increased passenger volumes combined with strikes and staffing shortage have made punctuality a real challenge for airlines. Just to mention, for example, for Europe last year, in July, the peak season, only 50% of the flights were able to do it on time. So the 2022 recovery, or what we call the revenge travel, has been chaotic, and the industry suffered a setback. No one anticipated the conflict in Ukraine, the labor strikes, inflation, overcrowded airports, airline capacity shortages, high ticket prices, delays, and last-minute flight cancellation. So who has the most painful journey in all that? Of course, the customer, the consumer. So the recovery has been unstable, but the good news is that the trajectory could be positive if we are able to tackle these 4 challenges. The first one is the customer experience today. The industry has been criticized for offering the most chaotic customer experience among all transportation modes. The second challenge is the new avoided sector phenomenon. Today, many speakers talked about the shortage in maintenance, repair and operations, in pilots. So talents are avoiding careers in aviation due to concerns over job security and the volatile nature of the industry. The third challenge is the industry today. We are struggling to keep pace with and adopt the rapid emergence of new innovations and digital technologies. The fourth is the sustainability issue. And today, the industry is now perceived as the new big tobacco, contributing significantly to greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution. So let's start with the first challenge. Over the last few years, the way we define customer experience has undergone substantial transformation. When mass delays and cancellation occur, what happened? We have furious and confused travelers who went to social media and asking, why are the flights cancelled, delayed, and what is the story of short staffing? In the US, particularly, we had 35% increase in service complaints, and complaints are nearly 270% above pre-pandemic levels. So when growth outpaces capacity, a labor shortage and out-of-date technology may raise MRO costs for an expanding global fleet. And I think one of the big learning of this recovery, this painful recovery, regardless of the adapters, the industry is approaching an inflection point when it comes to data-driven programs. Today, we need to have more data science, more prediction, more anticipations, and these real-time information is very important today. But in this new changing in the industry, do customers care about anything other than travel safety? Yes. The customer's loyalty to an airline is driven by experiences across multiple moments of truth. When we talk about moments of truth, starting from the booking till the baggage claim. So a new customer experience need to be focusing on the usage of cutting-edge technologies, tailored interactions, and an improved overall experience is required. The second challenge now, the talent challenge. So this is the COVID aviation industry has been facing a mix of growing demand and decline of workforce. And actually, just before the pandemic hit, we had this shortage in MRO. It's not something new, but it has been exacerbated with the COVID. So pre-COVID aviation supported 7.7 million jobs. And in Africa, like in all continents, we lost 50% of these jobs. The aviation industry is suffering from a critical skills shortage. Organizations already face a severe shortage of key talents, and 90% say they will have a meaningful skills gap in the coming years. So first, the global pilot shortage. Leaders in the industry expect that there could be a shortage of nearly 80,000 pilots by 2032. A maintenance technician field shortage. 42% of industry leaders identify a labor shortage in the maintenance technician field as the most urgent challenge in aerospace and aviation. So we have an issue with the customer experience, we have an issue with the collaborator experience, and both intertwine. Because if we're unable to have the capacity, the human capital to serve our customers, then what happens? The customer experience would be decreasing. So collaborator experience, costs are increasing in order to retain the remaining talents. Young talents are losing faith in the industry, especially, for example, if we take the American continent. Many airlines had subsidies, but yet they laid off talent. They are fleeing and no longer want to work in the aviation industry. So this has an impact. Number of complaints is increasing and customer experience is downgrading. So today we need to remarket aviation, positioning the aerospace and aviation sector as an interesting and rewarding career choice. And we see later that the aviation is really a tremendous industry with a variety of jobs and careers, from data science to customer experience to safety to finance to revenue management to marketing to commerce. So we have really a wide range of opportunities, and we have a wide range of zigzag careers that could be done within this industry. So the second one is really revamping the sector into a captivating adventure and parallel journey to rebuild trust and to have a seamless customer experience. The third challenge now. So instead of a roaring comeback, the global aviation industry has been stumbling, unable to rapidly fire up operations again from the worst travel slump on record, and making what is in the past might have been a routine trip, it became an odyssey. The breakdown flights highlights how a faster than expected recovery in air travel has clashed with a massive staffing shortage after deep cuts during the pandemic. Last but not least, in terms of image deterioration, the industry still suffers from negative perception resulting from layoffs. So it's crucial for the industry to prioritize changing the aviation image. With the negative impacts on the industry's ancillary and commercial revenue streams, it's more important than ever for airlines and airports to come up with new ways to diversify their offerings. Technology such as e-commerce will once again have a big part to play here. For example, AirAsia is a prime example of an airline that is finding new ways of doing business by becoming a digital lifestyle brand. The airline has diversified its offering to create a unified e-commerce platform powered by technology and data, and has previously shared its ambition that by the end of 2024, 50% of its revenue would be coming from non-flight related, non-aviation related revenue. So the careers commercial strategy focuses on three main pillars: travel, e-commerce, and fintech. This is a disruptive change in terms of defining a mission and the vision of an airline. But this is the future. This is the future of travel. Real-time operational decision-making is essential in managing disruption as ongoing market condition, which is likely to continue in 2023. Disruption management can only be achieved through digitalization, where data can be captured and sound what-if scenarios created so that the right decisions can be made at the right time. The airline industry has been relatively slow to adopt digitalization technologies, lagging behind other industries in implementing digital strategies. While some airlines have made progress in adopting digital tools and technologies, many others still rely heavily on traditional methods. So this lack of digitalization has a cost. It leads to inefficiencies, lack of prompt customer service, lower productivity, and reduced competitiveness in the industry. With the increasing importance of data analytics and artificial intelligence, the lack of digitalization can result in lost opportunities for airlines to gain insights into customer preferences and behavior and to improve their operations. Here, the example of Korean Air is among the airlines working towards introducing a machine learning management service, which will allow the airline to create, train, and apply machine learning models to improve customer service by forecasting passenger and cargo demand more accurately. The airport is using robotics and AI to promote business efficiency and enhance productivity. We have ChatGPT that is now also more and more used in the airline sector. So new technologies are lever to lower costs and to improve efficiencies and to improve the customer experience. The last challenge about sustainability, the aviation industry is in danger of making itself the new big tobacco and finding it rising its growth restricted by regulators if it doesn't take decarbonization more seriously. Well, today we only are responsible of 2% or 3% of global carbon dioxide emission, yet by 2050, this impact could rise to 22% due to the growth of the sector. So Africa requires further investment in its infrastructure to construct facilities that can embrace sustainable innovations. Okay, so now we answered the why question. So what do we need to remarket in the industry? 4 main pillars: the industry image, the customer experience, the talent market, and sustainability. And by the way, number 2, 3, 4 would enhance number 1. So working on customer experience, talent management, sustainability would lead to improve the image of the airline industry. Now, how will we remarket these pillars? First, we need to change the narrative, and the aviation, the market aviation, needs to be remarketed as a cool, digitized, innovative industry in order also to be attractive to new generations. And when we talk about new generation, not only new generation of consumers, but new generation of talents. Customers place a high value on their safety and well-being when traveling, and knowing that an airline has a strong safety record and boost their confidence and trust in the airline. The example of ChatGPT, potential role in identifying potential safety hazards, can be trained to generate detailed flight plans based on a setup of input parameters. This can include things like the aircraft's flight path, speed, altitude, as well as weather conditions and other factors that need to be taken into account for a safe and efficient flight. By investing in safety measures such as regular maintenance, well-trained staff, and update technology, airlines can provide customers with a sense of security that their needs are being prioritized. The future of JetGPT in the aerospace industry looks promising, as the model's capabilities can be used to improve autonomous flight systems, human-machine interactions, and provide valuable insights into aircraft performance. What is worth to know is that this digitalization and automation of work activities are leading to further skill shifts, and they will move to HR After this, the industry needs to focus on future hospitality experience. This will require new skills to tackle such as tasks as revenue optimization across departments, channel management, customer acquisition with digital marketing and data analytics. And we need people to have the ability to spot revenue opportunities, identify ancillary revenues, and be able to upsell, cross-sell. So I will skip this part. Try to move to the, this is about the new generations and the importance of digital technology, embracing technology. This is an example also of, for example, the Delta innovation about how your next flight could change your life when you can choose who you can be seated next to, thanks to LinkedIn and social information, but I will skip to, I have 2 minutes. How to market aviation as a rewarding career choice. First, this is an industry where we can have zigzag careers, retention and recruitment, mobility, training, and cultural alignment. Today, we need to shout louder to reach potential aviation engineers and technicians, or we risk losing out on talent. Young people in schools are unaware of the breadth of amazing aviation careers all over the world. We need to show them what they're missing. The airline industry offers a diverse range of career opportunities across a broad spectrum of fields, from pilots and engineers to marketing, finance professionals. You can see here the MRO, data science, finance, digital retail. A career in aviation can have a transformative impact on individuals' lives, providing opportunities to see new places, experience different cultures, meet people from all over the world. Working in the airline industry is not merely a job, but it's a lifestyle, involving irregular hours, frequent travel, high level of responsibility for the safety and well-being of passengers. Despite these challenges, for those who are passionate about aviation, a career in the industry can be personally and professionally rewarding. With an ever-evolving industry landscape, careers in aviation can often take a zigzag path, presenting exciting opportunities for professionals to switch roles. Retention and recruitment. Today we're having the tendency to working from Rome. The industry should put its best foot forward. The reality is that career in business aviation is a lot better than most commercial equivalent role. Retention, we must ensure those who remain in business are also able to train future generation. Mobility. The international aspect of the airline industry provides a unique opportunity for professionals to broaden their horizons, gain international experience, and immerse themselves in different cultures. The airline industry cross-border operation offer endless possibility for career investment and personal growth, making an excellent choice for those seeking a dynamic and rewarding career path. Of course, the training is something very important. In the airline industry, technical training, but also managerial training, soft skills. And I will finish with the cultural alignment. In a context of increasing competition, scarcity of resources, MRO pilots mainly, developing individual category manager talents, career paths, and talent development is vital for airlines. Training and retaining employees will not only enhance their sense of belonging, pride, and ownership, but also create a more productive and efficient workforce, leading to better outcomes and a competitive advantage in the marketplace. However, all the training and skills development will be insufficient if the culture does not suit. Phrase it otherwise, airline businesses today must also emphasize on strengthening their corporate culture in order to reach corporate objectives and retain their critical resources. Today we have many new airlines that are launched, and when they will find should they find their pilots? Where do you think? It would be your pilots, your MROs, your staff. So what is the best way to retain your staff? The best way, if the relationship they're having with you is not just a salary. Because if it's just a salary, they will move. Okay, I know I don't have time, so this would be the last slide. So your culture is your brand. Employees join a company and then quit their manager or leave for a better salary if the company just treats them in a transactional way. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause, please. I know you're tired of applauses, but one more. Finally, after a tough and difficult journey, the pilot has finally landed safely. 2 hours of delay picked up along the way, and I'm sure we all understand why. I will make it up for each one of you tonight. So now listen, ladies and gentlemen. First, congratulations to everyone who is still here sitting, and I want an applause for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Now, secondly, we have our gala dinner taking place tonight at 7:30 p.m. So we have an hour and a half to freshen up, get on our dancing shoes, and be ready. The venue is in the ballroom of the new wing of this hotel. Not where we are, but when you get out the block on the other side. There's a ballroom there on the ground floor, and that is where AFCAC, the air navigation service provider based in Dakar, which represents 17 countries on the continent, is going to be hosting us to some unbelievable entertainment, dance, music, and good food. So we will meet there at about 7:30 to start with some drinks, and then the rest will follow. Ladies and gentlemen, the dress code for tonight is smart casual. So let's drop the ties. Or, better still, cultural. So you have a cultural dress, a cultural attire, please don that. If you don't, then you come in a smart casual way, and you will not regret. Now, I want to remind members that those who have not yet registered for the one-to-one networking sessions tomorrow, the registration is still ongoing. Just contact the registration desk and book your slots for tomorrow morning. The lunch cards, those who still have them, please just drop them off the tables here, or just give them to an AFRA staff and they will be picked. Tomorrow, we will start here at 0900 hours sharp. And I'm sure with what we are going to experience tonight, we definitely will be ready, and we will be here at 9 o'clock. If you think today was an exciting day, then you haven't seen tomorrow yet. The starting is always the beginning of everything. So please try to be here early and see what we have for you tomorrow. All the presentations that the various presenters have shown here will be shared to all delegates. So rest assured, after the convention, we'll post them on a link and you can download them at your own pace. On this note, apart from those who are staying behind for the ATSSC meeting, the rest of you, I wish you a good rest and see you on the next side, the next block at 7:30 sharp. Bye-bye.